Good day and good morning, dear students. Hope all of you are doing well. Okay, today is our 15th class for SMC's virtual class, and this is our 4th class for science subject. Okay, today we have Mr. Dharma with us, our English teacher. Today we will be doing exercises on first topic, which is standard 6 topic. Okay, and there are a few announcements for you as usual. You can't ask any questions verbally, but you can put your questions in the chat box in order to the teacher to read your question and answer for your question. Number two, please do not click the request to control slides button. Okay, I humbly request you to not to click the request to control slides button, because it will interrupt the teaching and also our lesson. Okay, meanwhile, if you have missed any part of the lesson, you want to view the lesson again, you always can go to Sri Murugan Center Facebook page, and you can see the lesson again, which is published in our Facebook. The lesson after our class, the lesson will be available in Sri Murugan Center Facebook. If you missed any points, you can view again the lesson in our SMC Facebook. Okay, with that, let us welcome Mr. Dharma to conduct today's class, science subject on standard 6 topic, force.
All right, a very good morning. Okay, a very good Sunday to all the students. How are you? I hope all of you are in good health. All right. I believe all of you have gone back to your school, and I'm sure you haven't studied this topic. So we are a bit ahead of the school. Huh? Okay, now if you look at the topic on force, okay, this is the year 6 topic. Okay, the year 6 topic. And how important this topic in UPSR? How important this topic to us? All right. And what is this topic all about? So we're going to see all of that today. It's quite a huge topic. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to summarize it, and I'm going to only discuss some of the main parts of this topic. So I'm going to go a bit fast. And if you don't understand, all right, you can ask question, or you can repeat. Okay, you can watch the video, all right, of the recording of this lesson in the Sri Murugan Center web page or the Facebook. All right, so let's go. What is force? Okay, we must know that force is all about pushing and pulling. Okay, if you look at the person on the screen, what the two people are doing? One person is pushing and one person is pulling. All right, so the force is all about pushing and pulling, and how it's going to affect the daily activity that we do, okay, in our life. Okay, so let us go to the next one, force. Okay, let us see what we're going to study in this topic. In the first topic, all right, what we're going to learn. Okay, this first topic, all right, generally is divided into two parts. All right, two parts. The first part, we are going to see what is force and what is the effect to us. All right, what is the force effects? Effects not kesan. All right. Okay, next one. The second part of the force, we're going to see the frictional force. What is frictional? All right. What is the effect of the frictional? Can we increase the frictional force, or can we decrease the frictional force? We are going to see today. All right. Okay. And how important is this topic for UPSR children? All right. Look at the analysis of the past year question. Okay, for the past 4 years, from 2016 until 2019. I'm sure I have shared this, some of the slides to those who have registered into Sri Murugan Center. So they will have this table, but it will be empty. So you can complete the table now. If you look at the paper 1, when I say kertas satu, K1 means kertas satu, the paper 1, K2 means the paper 2. So if you look at the paper 1, every year the questions are being asked from the year 2016 until 2019. Okay, please don't ask about where is 2020 here. There is no UPSR in 2020. All right. So if you look at the every year, there are questions asked in paper 1. So what we can conclude from here, the first topic, it is indeed a very important topic. It's a very important topic, and it is also a must-ask topic, a must-ask topic in UPSR. So you must learn this topic, all right, the entire topic. Okay, if you look at the 2016, about 4 questions out of 40 questions, 4 questions, okay, about 10% of the entire paper 1 have been asked just from this topic. So it shows how important is this topic in UPSR. All right, so let us go into the topic now. All right, class, what is force? What is the meaning of force? Or what is the definition of force? All right, you must memorize this. What is force? A force is a push or a pull that acts on an object in any activity. Please memorize this. A force is a push or pull. That's the keyword, push or pull, that act on an object in activity. So we need an object Z for us to push or pull, because the force will act on the object. For example, I have a plasticine. So when I use a force, I act the force to the object. Now, I want to ask you a question. Can we apply force in vacuum? You know what is vacuum? Space. Can we apply or not? We cannot apply. Why? Because vacuum has no object. There is no even air in the vacuum. So we cannot apply force in the vacuum. All right. Okay, let's go on to the next one. What is pulling? Pulling is an action of bringing objects towards us. So when you pull somebody, the person will come close to you. All right. And you push somebody. All right. It's an action where the object will move away from us. Yes or not? Okay. Let's say you push a friend, he will go away from you. When you pull a friend, he'll come closer to you. All right. So next one. Let us look at some of the example. All right. Okay. These are the example of pushing forces. All right. Pushing forces. So look at that guy. When the guy kick a ball, the ball go further than him. It means move away from him. All right. Same goes to when we hit a ball. Okay. Let's say when somebody plays softball. When we hit a ball, the ball moves away from the person who hit it. Okay. Same goes to if you have a table, how you close the drawer of the table. Okay. You push it to close. All right. You push it to close the drawer. Okay. At the same time, look at the example of pulling forces. You have a tissue paper. What you have to do to take the tissue? Do you push it or pull it? You pull the tissue out, right? You pull the tissue out. So what type of force you use there? You use pulling force. Remember, there's only 2 forces. How many forces are there? 2. One is push, another one is pull. So you must know what type of force is being applied in the activity that you do. All right. Okay. If you open the drawer, okay, open the drawer, what type of force you use? You pull to open the drawer. Same goes to tug of war. You know what's tug of war? Tarik tali. All right. Okay, tarik tali. So in the question, if they ask you, please give an example of pushing forces or pulling forces. Okay, try not to give answer like pushing the chair, pushing the table, pushing your friend. Of course, the word pushing is there. Try to use another word. Okay, for the pushing, you can do kicking, hitting, throwing. All right. Even if you flick a coin. All right. If you take a coin. Okay, if you take a coin, how you flick a coin? You push it, right? When you flick a coin, you push. So flicking a coin is a push force. All right. Okay, look at pulling force. Okay, try not to use the word pull, but give me example of pulling activity. Taking tissue. Don't say pulling tissue. Try not to use the word pulling for the example. Okay, what else? Opening the drawer. All right. Okay, wearing socks. What do you do when you wear socks? You have to pull, right? Okay, even stretching a spring or stretching a rubber band, it is called pulling forces. All right. Okay, next one. Next one. Some of the examples, okay, of the pushing and pulling forces. Some activity, particularly the activity that involves cleaning. Okay, what is cleaning? Okay, for example, please rub your face. Wash your face now. How you wash your face? Pushing and pulling, right? Okay, how you brush your teeth? Pushing and pulling. How you wash your hair? Pushing and pulling. How you bathe? Pushing and pulling, right? Okay, how you wash your clothes? How mother wash clothes? Okay, pushing and pulling. Even wiping the window, right? Is also pushing and pulling. Even mopping, sweeping. So all the activity that involves cleaning will be using pushing and pulling forces. All right. Another example that I can give you will be sawing a wood. No, sawing gergaji. All right. Okay, very good. Okay, next one. Okay, very good. Okay, we are moving into the next one. So what we have see here is the example of pushing forces, pulling forces, and pushing and pulling forces. All right. So we can conclude here, what is a force? Force is a push or pull. All right. Push or pull that act on any object. Okay, let's look at next. Let's look at this. Okay, if you can answer the question, you can put in the chat box. Playing kites. What type of force involved when you play kites? Bermain layang-layang. Have you played kites before? What do you do? See whether people, okay. Very good. We have answer from Dharani, Birika. Very good. All of you given, okay, give me. Harshini, Aditya, very good. Okay, you have given me the correct answer. Playing kites is pulling. You pull, right? You pull. You don't push. Can you push the thread? Boleh tak tolak benang? Cannot, right? Can you push the benang? No, right? Okay. So the narambal the push pan dia. So we have to pull to play the kites. Okay, next one. Taking tissue from its box. Taking the tissue. It also involves pulling. We pull, okay, we pull it out. Next one. Chopping meat. Chopping meat, what do you do? Pushing. Yeah, you chop. Okay, you chop the meat. Okay, when you chop the meat, you push, you cut. So cutting. Okay, cutting got one. We also can cut like this. Have you seen your mother cut like this? Sometimes she cuts vegetables like this, right? So when they cut like this, in Malay we call mengerat, kerat. Alright, mengerat, right? You have learned. Okay, so when they mengerat, okay, cutting like that, so that is involved pushing and pulling. But chopping is like this. Alright. Okay, next one. Play bowling. What do you do when you play bowling? You will push the ball. Alright. Okay, you will throw the ball. So throwing is pushing. Alright, throwing is pushing. Okay, next one. Kneading dough. Let's say your mother is making chapati for lunch. So how she will knead the dough? You pull and push, pull and push, pull and push, right? So pushing and pulling. Very good. I'm getting a very good answers from all of you. All right. A lot of you are very active. All right. Okay. Next one. Twisting wet cloth. Twisting wet cloth. Your mother already washed the clothes, or you wash the clothes. Okay. How you will dry it? Okay. This is the cloth. What do you do? One hand will come towards you, one hand will go against. Yes or not? Yes or not? Okay, so it involves also pushing and pulling. One hand push, one hand pull. If two hand push, what will happen? It'll go like that. All right. If two hands pull, it'll go like this. So one hand must push, one hand must pull to twist it. Okay, next one. Tearing a paper. What is this? Tearing a paper. Okay, some of you say pulling, some of you type push and pull. Which is correct? Pull or push and pull? Okay, look here. Look at my hand. Huh? Okay, can all of you pin my video so that you can see me clearly, so that your friends won't distract you? You know how to pin the video, right? Pin the video so that you can see me clearly. All right. So look at the paper. I have a paper here. Okay. If I want to tear the paper, one hand have to go in front and one hand comes towards me. It go against. Yes or not? It go against. So one hand go move forward, one hand moves towards me. So it involves, very good, pushing and pulling. Push and pull. All right, very good. Okay, we go to the next one. Okay, what is the effect of force? Okay, now, when force is applied to an object, all right, there's an object, we give force to the object. What can happen to the object? That is called effect of force. All right, so let's look at the first picture on top here. Okay, look at the first picture on top here. Okay, this picture. Okay, look at this picture. Okay, what you can see here? An aluminium can. So when you press the aluminium can, what changes in the aluminium can? The shape changes. Am I right? Okay, same goes to, what is this? A plasticine. All right. Okay, a dough. All right, a play dough. So when you take a play dough, okay, and when you squeeze it, when you apply force, say when I apply force, I'm applying a force to the play dough. What happened to the shape? The shape changes. All right. Now I apply a force again. Now what happened to the shape? Do the shape change? Yeah. Do the volume of the dough changes? Do the mass of the dough changes? No, it's the same plus the same. The mass, the volume is still the same. Only thing, the shape of the dough changes. All right. So the first effect that we're going to see is change the shape of an object. So what force can do? Force can change the shape of an object. Okay, that's number one. Okay, number two. Okay, look at this. When you play a badminton, okay, when you play a badminton, you have a shuttlecock. Okay, when the shuttlecock move here, a player hit. What happened to the shuttlecock? It go to the next direction. All right, to the opponent. Now, when the opponent hit the shuttlecock, it goes to another direction. So what we can conclude here, the force can change the direction of a moving object. So when the object is moving, we can apply force and change the direction of the object. That is the effect number 2. Now let's go to the third effect. Stop the moving object. Let's say a goalkeeper is catching a ball. All right. Okay, let's say your father is playing a ball with you. He's throwing a ball, you're catching the ball. Okay, when you catch the ball, you're stopping and moving object. Okay, so when the car is moving, all right, and the person who or the driver apply the force to the brake. Okay, apply the force to the brake. What happened to the car? The stop. Okay, the car slowly stop moving. So force can stop moving object. Okay, please write down. The one that I gave you is not complete notes, so you have to complete it by using my slide. The next one, move a stationary object. All right, let's say a person, a football player. Okay, let's say Ronaldo or Messi want to take a penalty kick. When I say Ronaldo, some of you are smiling. I know some of you are fans of Ronaldo here. All right, okay, me too. All right, so let's say you want to take a penalty kick. So what do? You have to place the ball at the penalty point, and when you want to kick, okay, before you kick, the object is in a stationary mode. What is stationary mode? Not moving. The object is not moving. But when you apply a force, what happened? The object start moving. So even, let's say, okay, you place anything. Let's say I place a mouse on the mouse pad. Is it moving? No. But when I push it, it is moving. When I push it, is it moving? So when we apply a force to a stationary object means not the object that we buy at the stationery shop. Stationary means not moving. Pegun. Alright, pegun means it's not moving. Okay, move பண்ணல. அப்படியே stop பண்ணி நிக்குது பாத்தீங்களா? That is called stationary object. Okay, so when we apply force, a stationary object, the object that still can start moving. Okay, the next one, the last one will be, okay, maybe you have experienced this. Maybe when you're a child, your father bring you to the playground. He'll put you in the swing. He'll push you, right? So what do you tell father? Faster, papa, faster, harder, harder, harder. So what do you do? The father will push. All right. So when they push, what will happen? It will swing. Why? Swing faster or slower? It will swing faster. Even sometime when you go with your brother, let's say this is you and this is your sister. Let's imagine. All right. Your sister asks you to push. Okay. After so long, okay, they play. You want to play. What your sister do? No, I want to play alone. She don't want to give the swing. So what do? You push harder. You push harder. You push harder until your sister is here. Correct. All right. Then you take the swing. So what happened here? When you apply the force to an object, okay, the fifth effect will be you change the speed of an object. Correct? You change the speed of an object. So when I say the change the speed can increase or the speed can decrease. So வேகமா போலாம் முள்ளுமாவும் போலாம். சரிங்களா? So when you apply the effect, you apply a force, the effect will be the speed will change. All right. For example, a car is moving, a toy car is moving. So what I do, I go and knock behind. What happened? The toy car will move faster. All right. Okay. And we also can slow down a moving object. Can you understand? புரிஞ்சுச்சுங்களா? All right. Done. So how many effects are there for the force? 5. All right. There are 3 changes. Change the shape, change the direction, change the speed. 3 changes. Change shape, change direction, change speed, and move stationary object or stop moving object. So there are 5 effects of force. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right. Question time. Okay, look at the first one. We are going to state the effect of force. So remember the 5 things we have learned? We're going to answer according to the 5 effect of force that we have learned. The number 1, Puan Farida took a trolley which is parked at its station to buy groceries. Okay, let's say you go to any supermarket like a Aeon Big or Tesco, all right, any big supermarket. There'll be trolleys parked. You know the trolley? Normally they have parked the trolley. So when they park the trolley, is the trolley moving? If the trolley moving by itself, you will be running away from the supermarket. All right. So it is parked there. When it's parked, it is stationary. So when you pull the trolley, what happened? What is the effect? Very good. Okay, I get answer from Roshan, Arul Chelvan, Tisha, Santosh. Okay, moving. Okay, very good. The effect of force will be moving stationary object. Very good. Okay, moving stationary object. Why I call stationary? Because the trolley was parked there. It doesn't move. When you pull, it starts moving. All right. Okay, number 2. Pupils of Tu Amana make origamis with color paper. You know, origami, they take the paper, they fold it, they make something like this. This is called some of the origamis, right? Okay, now, what happened? The paper was like this. Then when you apply force, it becomes like this. So what is the effect of the force here? Change shape of an object. So we change the shape of the object. Next one. Question 3. The Sarawak team rows the boat harder towards the finishing. So when they row the boat harder, let's say it's a long boat, all right? The long boat where many people rows together. So during at the finishing line, have you seen the people rowing? They row very fast. So when they row the boat harder means they row with so that the boat can what? Move faster. Yes or not? Moves faster. So when you say move faster, what we have changed? Did we change the shape of the boat? Do we move the stationary object? No, the boat is already moving. So what we have changed here? We have changed the speed of the object. All right, next one. Lee Chong Wei is playing badminton with his friend. So when he hit here, goes here. When he hit here, goes here. When he hit here, goes here. What we have changed, okay, to the shuttlecock? We have changed the direction. We have changed the direction of a moving object. All right. Okay, next one. Last one. Malaysian goalkeeper Mohamed Zahin successfully catched the penalty kick took by Ronaldo. All right. So when Ronaldo kicked the ball, Mohamed Zahin catch. It doesn't, okay? It doesn't punch. If he punched the ball, the ball goes to a different direction. See, if you punch the ball goes to a different direction. It means we change the direction of a moving object. Now we catch. So when we catch, the ball doesn't move, all right, anymore. So the effect is stop a moving object. Am I clear? Okay, so do you understand? So this will be the first part of the topic. We have learned about what is force and what is the effect of force. These two things. Now we are moving into the second section of the topic. Okay, next. We are moving on. All right. Frictional force. What is frictional? What is friction? All right. What is friction? When we apply a brake, there is a friction between the brake and the tire. So the tire stop moving. So let's say you take your hand. Take your hand here. Just rub your hand like this. What you are creating, can you see the friction between the two hands? There is a friction between the two hands. But if you look at the meaning of the friction, friction is a type of force when two surfaces are in contact. It means you don't need to even rub. You just put the two hands like this, like the way you say vanakkam. All right? When you touch two hands, you don't need to rub. There is already friction between right hand and the left hand. Got it? Let's say you touch your chin. Okay, maybe your cheek. When you touch your cheek, there is a friction between your palm, your hand, and also your cheek. Got it? Now you're sitting down on a chair. Do we have a friction between your body and the chair? Yes, although you're not moving, but are you touching the chair? Once you are touching the chair or touching any surface, you have already created a friction. When you rub it, you increase the friction. But you are already sitting still, you have friction between your body and the chair. Got it? So that's why they say the friction is the type of force when two surfaces are in contact. What is in contact? Sentuh. Touch pandrathu. When touch pannale, there is a friction. Got it? Okay, next one. Friction opposes the direction of movement of an object. It means friction don't want an object to move. Say they go against. Say you want to go. Your friend is pulling you from behind. So your friend is like a friction. They don't allow you to move, or they don't allow any object to move. For example, let's say you look at the helicopter that I've shown here. All right. Okay. Let's say the helicopter want to move up like this. Can you see the green color arrow? Okay. The green color arrow shows the direction of the movement. All right. Do the friction has a direction? Yes. They goes opposed to the movement. It means they goes opposite of the movement. So now, if the helicopter is moving up, where is the friction goes? Where is the direction of the helicopter? The direction of the friction. The friction will be down. Movement up. Okay, movement up. Where is the opposite of the up? Down, right? So the friction will be down. So it always go against. All right, let's say we give another example. Okay, let's say the helicopter now want to land. So it's moving down, slowly moving down. So when it's moving down, the movement is down. Where is the direction of the friction? It opposes, so it must go up like this. The red color arrow is the direction of the friction. Can you see? All right, one more, last try. Okay, let's say now the helicopter want to move forward. They want to move forward. Where will be the direction of the friction? When they move like this, the direction will be opposite of it. So the direction of the friction will be to the right. So when the helicopter is moving to the left, the friction will move to the right. So that they don't allow the object to move. They must go against. Got it? Understand? Okay. So what we have learned here, the friction always opposes the direction of the movement. It means they don't like the object to move. That is called the frictional force. Okay. Just check it. Okay, very good. I just check the chat box if there's any question. All right. No. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Let's look at the factors that affect friction. Now, the friction, all right? The factors that affect friction. The friction can be big or small. What happens if there's a bigger friction? Let's think. What is friction? Opposes the motion. A toy car want to move. All right, a toy car want to move. All right. When there is more friction, what happens? Can they move faster or move slower? They move slower. It means more people pushing. Yeah, right? It means more. All right. It means more friction, more the hurdles. Means halangan lebih banyak. More the hurdles. What happened to the speed of the car? The speed of the car will reduce. All right. Okay. Now, what are the factors that affect the friction? Let's look at the number one. The type of surface. Okay, we have two type of surface. All right, two type of surface. What is surface? Permukaan. Okay, for example, where the car is moving. This is a surface. Can you see the sign? All right, this is a surface. All right, another surface. Okay, let's say I take this pencil box. This is also a surface. All right. Okay. Will the car move at the same speed as the two surface? No, because different surface will produce a different friction. Okay, let's look at the type of surface. As I said earlier, how many surfaces are there? Two. Okay. One is smooth. What is smooth? Licin. Smooth means what? Licin. All right. Okay. What is rough? Rough means kasar. Okay, kasar. Smooth means licin, not lembut, not soft. Smooth is not soft. Smooth means licin. Vala-valapa irukkirathu. All right. Okay. Now, this is the first one. Okay. So there are two type of surface. One is smooth surface, and one is rough surface. Okay. Let's look at the second factor. The mass of the object. All right. Okay, now I have two boxes. One will be empty box. Okay, empty box. And the same box I fill up with a lot of things. Which will be easier to push? Empty box or the full box? Definitely the empty box is easier to push, right? You know why? When the box is full of things, it will be heavy. So the mass of the object will be higher, will be greater. So they will exert or create more friction to the surface of the floor. All right. So when you want to push it, it will be even harder. So there are two types of mass also. One is light. What is light? Ringan. And what is heavy? Okay, now look at the type of surface first. When the type of surface is smooth, the toy car is moving on the smooth surface. What will happen to the frictional force? Will the floor create a bigger frictional force or lesser frictional force? Is it a higher or lower? What do you think? A smooth surface will create a lower frictional force or lesser frictional force. So please draw the arrow. A smooth surface will produce a less frictional force. Okay. But a rough surface means kasar. A rough surface will produce a greater frictional force. So it will be easier for the toy car, all right, to move on a smooth surface because the oppose is lesser. The frictional will be lesser. Please remember. Next one. Mass of the object. If I take two cars, one is light cars, and one more is a bigger car. I push both the cars with the same force. Which car will move further? The light car or the heavy car? Very good. I'm getting the answer. The light car will move further. You know why? Because the heavy car will produce more frictional force to the floor. So when more frictional force, it will be hard for them to move. So they will stop in between of the journey. So they stop earlier compared to the light car. All right. So when the mass of the object is light, the frictional force will be lower. Got it? And if the mass of the object is heavy, the frictional force will be greater or higher. Got it? Okay. Now look at the next one. Look at this question. Arrange these objects according to the increase of frictional force. Okay, when I say increase of frictional force, it must be from the lower frictional force to the higher frictional force. Yeah, increase of frictional force. So you must take from the lower, lower to the higher. Okay, can you arrange? You can check, put your answer in the check box. Okay, I'm getting some answer. Later we check the answer. Okay, 10 seconds more. Okay, now let's discuss. Between all these objects, which is the smoother? Smoother means paling licin. Okay, the most smooth surface will be R. So R will be the number one. All right. Okay. Some of you get confused with the carpet. Some of you think the carpet is not rough. The carpet is soft, right? All right. The carpet is soft, but it's not smooth. When I move the toy car on the carpet, can they move fast? So don't get confused with the smooth and soft. Okay, because some of you put Q first. Carpet is soft, but it's not smooth. So you must always think about the toy car. In which surface the toy car will move the fastest? The mirror, followed by the wood plank, plywood, then followed by the sandpaper, and the last one will be the carpet. This is the correct answer. R, P, S, then Q. So from here, the biggest frictional force is actually created by the carpet. Some of you may be shocked. Carpet is so soft. Yes, when they soft, okay, what happened? Can the car move faster on the carpet? Very slow, right? And they will stop. What happened if I put it on the cement? It can go very fast. So you must think about that. Frictional force, think about the toy car. Where it can move fast, lesser frictional force. Where it can go slow, it is higher frictional force. All right. So this will be the answer. Okay. So frictional force is something that don't want us to move. Think about that. It's a force. It's a force, dire that don't want us to move. That is called the frictional force. So when an object is moving, there is a force. We cannot see the force. Huh? Can we see the force? We cannot see the force. There is something that pushing the car not to move, and that is called frictional force. All right. So those who don't understand, I repeat again. Any moving object, all right, there is a frictional force which act against the moving. All right. So when the frictional force greater, the object cannot move faster. All right. When the frictional force is lower, the object can move faster. All right. Please remember that. Okay. Okay. Next one. And the frictional force also, remember, the frictional force also, okay, are there in a stationary object. Okay, if you look at the car, let's say the car cannot move, the battery, okay, cannot work. Normally what they do, they will push start. Have you seen people pushing the car to start the engine? So when they are starting to push the car, it will be very hard. Why? Because there is a frictional force between the tire and the road. Right? So when they are pushing it, they are actually beating the frictional force. So the car can slowly move. All right, we go to the next one so that you can understand better. Okay, let's look at the relationship. Okay, let's look at the relationship. What happened if the roughness of the surface increases? Okay, I take the toy car, I move on a mirror like this. Can you see the mirror? Telephone, huh? Mirror, huh? Okay, I move on this mirror. Then I take the mouse pad. Can you see? Mouse pad, it has more friction. So it also moves on the mouse pad. Now, this is mirror. The roughness is lower. This is mouse pad. The roughness is higher. Okay, please concentrate. Huh? So now what happened if you use any surface where the roughness of the surface increases? All right, the roughness of the surface increases. Okay, let's say I take mirror, then let's say I take a cardboard, then I take the mouse pad. The mouse pad got chora, right? Got pattern. So it has more roughness. Okay. So what happened here? The roughness of the surface increases. Okay. When the roughness of the surface increases, what happened to the frictional force? Is it increases or decreases? Right? Good, Roshan. The frictional force increases. Please draw the arrow. Okay, please draw the arrow. The roughness increases, the frictional force increases. Okay, now let's look at the relationship between roughness, frictional force, and distance. When the roughness of the surface increases, the frictional force increases. Now, what happened to the distance traveled by the object? Can they move further or they move slower, so they stop earlier? So will the distance increase or decrease on the rough surface? Very good. The distance will be lower, or they can only able to move near from the starting point if the roughness increases. Can you get it? All right. Now, what is the effect to the time? When they move in a very rough surface, will they take more time or less time? Let's do some answer. Yeah, very good. Okay, we can have some answers. Okay. Some say more time, some say less time. So which is correct one? Okay. Please focus again, because I have some correct answer and wrong answers here. Okay, look here. when the toy car is moving on a rough surface, is it easy to move or hard to move? Hard to move, right? When they hard to move, let's say they want to travel 1 kilometer. Will they take more time or less time to travel? When the frictional forces increases, it will be very hard to travel. So mereka akan bersusah payah, right? The toy car will take a long time to go and reach there because the frictional force is what? Don't want to let the toy car to move. So they'll take a longer time. So the time increases. So more time is needed. More time is needed to against the frictional force. All right. And I want to ask you, why distance decrease and the time increases? It is because of the speed, right? Now, when the toy car is moving on a rough surface, what is rough surface? Kasar, permukaan kasar. All right, rough surface. When the toy car is moving on a rough surface, what happened to the speed? Will they move fast or slow? The speed will decrease. It means the toy car will move slower. Can you get it? The toy car will move slower. So when they move slower, they will travel lesser distance. They will stop early and they will take more time to reach a destination. So what happened? Okay, please think now. What happened if I increase the smoothness of the surface? Let's say I change the word roughness of the surface to smoothness of the surface. What happened to the frictional force? Up or down? Everyone show your hand. Smoothness increase. Smoothness of the surface increase. Frictional force decrease. All right. What happened to the distance? Distance increase. And what happened to the time? The time decrease if the surface is smooth. And what happened to the speed? When the toy car is moving on a smooth surface, the speed increases. So in the question, they normally will ask the relationship between the type of surface and the frictional force or distance, time, or speed of the object. So you must remember this relationship for you to answer the relationship question. All right, good. Now look at an experiment. Okay, this is a famous experiment that you will carry out in your school. This is called the ramp experiment. Ramp means landasan. All right, for example, okay, let's say I build a ramp like this. Can you see? Can you see the ramp? This is a ramp. Okay, you have to tilt it. You cannot put it like that. You have to tilt, so you put something, all right, underneath, so that it will be higher. All right. Okay. So now what happened? A toy car is pushed on a ramp. This is the ramp, with a different type of surface. Okay, let's say I put a mirror here. I place a mirror. Just imagine, I don't have a mirror. I place a mirror here, big mirror, and I leave the toy car here. All right. Okay. Now I put a wood plank, plywood. I put a plywood on the ramp, and I leave the toy car. And now let's say I put a carpet like this, something. Okay, a carpet like this, and I move. Okay, I let. Now what happened? When there is a carpet, the toy car moves slower compared to this, right? Okay, so now this is a plank experiment. So now what we have changed it? We have changed the surface, the type of surface. We have chosen the mirror, wood plank, and carpet. So when we carry out this experiment, okay, what is the responding variable that we want to measure? Okay, the distance traveled by the toy car on the floor is measured like this. All of you please concentrate on the ramp. Let's say I do an experiment here. I leave the car, okay, on top of the ramp. It moves. Okay, so from here the toy car moves. Where it will reach? Where it will reach? So I count or I measure the distance traveled by the toy car on the floor, from the ramp to the where the toy car stopped. Okay, so that is the distance traveled by the toy car on the floor. Okay, it's measured. Okay, now if it's moving on the mirror, what happened to the speed? It moves faster, right? When the toy car is moving faster, it means the speed increases, right? So when the speed increases, what happened to the roughness of the surface? Decreases, right? What happened to the frictional force? Faster is going down. It means the frictional force is lower. When the frictional force is lower, it will travel a longer distance. Can you see? It will travel a longer distance. Okay, now my first question will be, what is the manipulated variable in this question? Can you put that in the chat box? What is the manipulated variable in this experiment? All right. Very good. Okay, Arul Chelvan, I asked for manipulated, you gave me responding variable. Okay, when you say that manipulated, you don't need to write the word difference, because manipulated means different. So you don't write, okay, different in your manipulated. The answer will be type of surface. You don't write different type of surface. You only write type of surface, or you also can write it as roughness of surface. What is roughness? How rough is that surface? Can you get it? How rough, berapa kasar permukaan itu. So how rough is the surface? So this will be the manipulated variable. Okay, now what is the responding variable? What is the responding variable? Okay, some of you say speed. Can we measure the speed? Can we measure the speed? I put the car here. Okay, I put the car here. The car is moving. Car is moving. Can you measure the speed? What is the speed of the car? Is there any meter here? The car will have the meter, right? This one got any meter inside. Can you check the meter here? No, right? So what is the responding variable? So it cannot be the speed. Some of you gave me speed as an answer. So speed cannot be. Of course, the speed is changed, but can we measure in this experiment? No, we don't have a meter. We don't have a speedometer for the car. So the responding variable here will be distance traveled by the toy car on the floor. Okay, the distance traveled. All right, so the distance traveled by the toy car on the floor. Remember, I said from the ramp, how far they go. That is about the distance on the floor. So that will be the responding variable. All right. Okay, next one. Harshini, wait, Harshini, the distance travel. Wait, Harshini, what is your answer? The time taken for the toy car to reach the destination. All right. Okay, Harshini, okay, answering to the Harshini. Harshini say the time. Okay, in this experiment, did they take the time? Did they take the time? Did they mention they are taking the time? Okay, when you take a time, can be, but what you must do, you must have a distance. You must have a specific distance, and you take what they call it the jump run day, right? Okay, you must take the how many seconds they take to reach the distance. So in this experiment, they don't take the time. So when they don't take the time, we cannot use time as the responding variable. Responding variable means what we measure. Here we measure the length. Ambil panjang, how far the toy car move. So we take the distance. Got it? Answering for Harshini. All right. Now, what will be the constant variable in this experiment? Constant. What is constant? Never change. What I didn't change? I changed the surface, right? I changed the surface from mirror to wood plank to carpet. I changed the surface. What I didn't change? Very good. Someone say height of the ramp. Very good answer. Who's did that? With height of the ramp. Tarini Rajasegaran. Very good. Height of the ramp. Okay, can you see this? This is a ramp. Look at my video. This is a ramp. I put two here, right? Like this. Height of the ramp is the same. For the three mirror, wood plank, and carpet, 3 times we do the experiment, the height of the ramp should be the same. All right. What happened if I tilted more? If the height of the ramp more, what happened? It will be faster. All right. So each time when we do, the height of the ramp should be the same. Okay. Number 2. The toy car. Did I change the toy car? When I try, okay, the ramp, when I move the toy car, okay, 3 times on the 3 different surfaces, the toy car is the same. All right. So you can write as a type of toy car or mass of the toy car. When I change the toy car, the mass will be the change. It will be heavier or lighter. So I must make sure the mass of the toy car is the same, or height of the ramp, ketinggian landasan. Height must be same, because the higher the ramp, the faster the car moves. So we must make sure the ramp is at the same height. Can you get it? Okay, next question. What is the relationship? What is the relationship between the manipulated variable and the responding variable? Okay, this is a famous question. If they ask this question in paper 2, definitely they will ask about relationship. All right. How we answer relationship question? We can use there are 2 ways to answer the relationship question. We can see the more, remember, the more, okay, the more or less the MV, the more or less the RV. Or if the MV increases or decreases, then the RV increases or decreases. So there are 2 ways to answer this question. All right. So now, how are we going to answer this question? Look at the manipulated variable. All of you, please focus to the manipulated variable. Type of surface class. Wherein there is a word type of surface, can we use the word the more, the more? Can we say the more the type of surface? Because the type of surface can be rougher or smoother. So when we say the type of surface, we don't know whether the surface is getting rougher or the surface is getting smoother. So we don't understand. All right. So what we have to do here, we have to change this parameter. Can you see the word type here? We have to change the word type to roughness. or smoothness. So we have to say the more the roughness of the surface, or the more the smoothness of the surface. Can you get it? You cannot use the word type to answer relationship. Class, can you answer? Okay, can you understand? Or you want me to repeat that? All right. So now the answer, the full answer will be, you can use this word. The rougher the surface. Can you see? I changed the word, the type to rougher. The rougher the surface, the lesser the distance traveled by the toy car. Got it? Or you also can say the roughness of the surface increases. Yeah, if or when the roughness of the surface increases. Yeah, roughness of the surface increases, the distance traveled by the toy car decreases. So this is the relationship I was talking about earlier. All right. So when the roughness of the surface increases, the distance traveled by the toy car decreases. Okay. Can we use the word smoothness? Can or cannot? Can or not? We can use. Definitely we can use. So how say? We say the smoother the surface. What is called the smoother? The surface become lebih licin. Semakin licin. So the smoother the surface, the longer the distance traveled by the toy car. Am I get? Can you get it? So we also can say if the smoothness of the surface increases. What means by smoothness of the surface increases? The surface become more licin. Can you get it? More licin, more smooth. What happened to the travel? Distance travel. The travel will increase. So we also can write if the smoothness of the surface increases, the distance traveled by the toy car increases. Can you get it? Please understand this experiment. This is a very, very, very important experiment. I would say the most important experiment in this topic. All right. If this question can asked in the paper 2, definitely they are going to ask. All right. The higher chance for them to ask this question. All right, is higher. All right. Okay. Okay. Ranchaini asking why we can't put type. Okay, type of. Okay. Ranchani, okay, answering okay the question of Ranchani. She asked, teacher, why can't we put type of? All right, Ranchani. When they say type of surface, right? When you say type of surface, are you talking about the surface is more rougher or more smoother? So I say now. Okay, I say now the type of surface. So the type of surface semakin kasar ke semakin licin? Is it smoother or rougher? Who knows? No one knows, right? Only you know. You may be thinking is getting rougher. Maybe the examiner will be thinking is getting smoother. So when we say the type of surface, we are actually not precisely telling the examiner whether the surface is increasingly rougher or increasingly smoother. That's why we cannot use the word type of surface when we want to answer the relationship. Is it okay, Ranchani? Is it clear for everyone? All right. All right, good. So we are moving to the next one. The effect of frictional force. Okay, what is the effect? When there is a frictional force, see, frictional force, there are advantages and disadvantages. What is advantages? Kebaikan, good for us. Okay, what is good for us? Do you know that when you're holding an object, say I'm holding a pen, there is a frictional force between my fingers and the pen. If there's no frictional force, what happened? cannot hold any object. We cannot hold any object if there's no frictional force. So we need frictional force or not? Yes, we need. If not, you can't even drink a cup of coffee. You can't even hold a bottle to drink. It will slip away. So we need, all right, frictional force. It is an advantage. Second thing, lighting a fire. Long time ago, how people light a fire? They take a rock, hit, right? What they're creating now? They're creating frictional force, right? What happens if you rub your hand? You're creating a heat, right? So when you take let's say a stick, when you take a stick, you put some dry leaf, you put a dry leaf, all right, on top, and you're moving like this. What happened? You're creating a heat, right? That's how they produce fire last time. Yes or not? So when, let's say, when you're lighting a match, all right, how the match lighted up? When you have a friction between the matchstick and the surface here. So when you take a match box between this, there's a roughness. So there's a friction create the heat, and the heat starts the fire. So we need the frictional force. So there are the advantages of frictional force. Okay, same goes to stop moving object. When you're driving a car, when you see a red light, what do? You press the brake. When you press the brake, the car stops moving. Actually, the brake applies frictional force to the wheel. So the wheel stop moving. So that is also advantage. And next one, walking without slipping. Slipping means jatuh lah. If there is no advantage, if there's no frictional force, you will always fall down when you walk. See, when you walk, when you walk here, when you walk here, when you walk, your leg, see the leg, stop, right? Stop here. What happens if they don't stop here? It start to move like that. What happened to your leg? You slip. So you cannot stop. Okay, if you don't stop, why the leg stop here? Because there's a frictional force between the leg and the floor. If there's no frictional force, your leg will be keep on moving and you will fall each time when you're walking. All right. And next one, staying stationary. When I'm putting the object here, all right, let's say I'm putting a bottle here. It's not moving because there is a frictional force between the bottle and the surface. All right. If there is no frictional force, it will start moving. All right, it keep on moving. Okay, let's say a person who want to take a penalty kick. The ball keep on moving. How they want to take a penalty kick? So we need frictional force to make sure the object is at the stationary. But at the same time, class, there are also disadvantages. What are called disadvantages? Keburukan. All right, it gives some bad things to us. All right, what's the number one? Every year, your parents have to buy a new school shoe. Why? The shoe sole. You know what is the shoe sole? Tapak kasut. Tapak kasut akan haus. It means what? It wears out. The tread on the shoes and the tires. Your father have to change the tire of the car every 2 or 3 years. Why? Because the tread means the bunga in the tire, it wears out, their house, right? So when the tread on the shoe soles or tires wears out, the frictional force will be lesser. So they can the tire cannot grip the road properly. All right. So they have to change the tire. So we're losing money, right? So we have to buy a new tire. So that's a disadvantage. Next one, produce heat and damages the machine. When the machine is moving, all right, keep on moving, it creates heat, and that heat can spoil the machine. Look at the car. If the car travels very long distance, what happens to the engine? The engine will be heat up, all right, and the engine can damage. So we have to cool down the engine to continue the journey. All right. Next one, reduce speed and make motion difficult. Do you know that if there is no frictional force, you can run faster? So this frictional force reduce the speed of the object. And next one, it also produce noise. All right, when you make a brake, it make a screech sound, right? All right, like that. It make a screech sound. So it's actually like annoying sound sometimes. When sometimes you're opening and closing a door, it makes some noise, like that, right? So sometimes the noise can be annoying. All right. Okay, now next one. Move a bit faster. Okay, look at this question. In which situation frictional force is useful to us? This is the 2009 question, a UPSR question. Okay, look at this. Sharpening a knife. All right, it is useful. Shoe soles wear out is not an advantage. Produce heat is not an advantage. Holding object is an advantage. So the answer will be 1 and 4. Okay, next one. Ways to increase friction. Ways to increase friction. If you want to increase the frictional force, what you can do? Okay, let's say people always fall on the bathroom floor, right? What they can do? They can use the anti-slip mat. This is called the anti-slip mat. Okay, they also can buy a shoe soles or tire with the tread. More the tread, more the bunga, more the tread, more the friction. Okay, next one, mouse pad. All right, when there's a mouse pad, easy for us to control the mouse. Okay, next one, rubber material like a glove. All right, rubber glove, okay, will produce a frictional force. So easy for us to grab anything when we wear a glove. Resin. Okay, what is resin? Okay, resin is a type of a liquid produced by some trees like a pine tree. Okay, normally what they will do, people play violin, they put the resin on the violin track so that they increase the friction. When they increase the friction, they can bow the violin properly and produce the sound. Okay, next one, using magnesium carbonate powder. Please remember this word, magnesium carbonate powder. Okay, this magnesium carbonate powder, or sometimes they call it the gym chalk. Gym, people go to gymnasium. Okay, they call it the gym chalk. It's like this. They put on the hand so that they have a firmer grip, okay, to the bar. Okay, now how to ways to reduce the friction? Okay, oil have to lubricate the hinges of the door. All right, the hinges, you can put some oil when the door is making noise. Using rollers or wheel. Okay, this is called the wheel. Can you see? Okay, wheel is the roda, and rollers. Rollers is like this. It's like a cylinder. All right, so we can just move on top of it to reduce the friction. Ball bearing. Okay, any wheel will have the ball bearing. Okay, next, using a boric acid. Okay, boric acid. Okay, what is boric acid? Boric is a talcum powder. You know the powder that you put on the face or your body? That is called the boric acid. So when the people play carom, sometimes the carom key will stuck on the carom board. So what you can do? You can put the talcum powder to reduce the friction between the carom key and the carom board. And the last one, okay, like that, the hovercraft. Can you see the air cushion and the hovercraft? So the air cushion, okay, reduces the friction between the boat and also the water, so that the friction will be lesser. So the hovercraft actually move faster compared to normal boat. All right. So these are the way to reduce the friction. All right. Is it clear, class? All right. So I'm going to stop the class here. If you have any question, you can answer me. Okay, you can ask me. I'll be able to answer you. All right. Do you have any questions? So that's all for the topic. It's quite a huge topic, so I have to go a bit very fast today, okay, to complete the entire topic. All right. So this one, I give it to Mr. Sri Ganesh.
Thank you so much, Anna. Today's class was very elaborate and a lot of example you have showed us together with the experiments, toy cars and all that. I hope students understand the topic well, and they will understand better when the teacher teach the topic in the class later.
Yeah. All right.
So Anna, thank you so much, and we shall meet again next month for another topic.
All right. See you.
Yeah.
All the best to all of you.
Yeah, thank you, dear students. We shall meet again next week for our mathematics class. Okay, take care, all the best, and have a great Sunday. See you all again next week. Thank you.
Okay, bye.